Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. In this video I was thinking we could be painting a fun painting, and I decided to do a real-time video this time. So I've prepared the sketch and I will put the link down in description box for you to download the sketch, where you can download it. And I thought I would make it easier on you, and of course if you want to freehand it, by all means you can do that. Also, all the materials I will be using are listed down in the description box, and for today I'm using a larger paper. This one is 23 by 31 centimeters, but of course you can use a smaller one if you like it. I thought I could do a bigger one this time. And as I said, I've made my sketch and I'm gonna trace it right now on my paper. And of course, if you do not have, this is a graphite paper, if you do not have a graphite paper, you can just place it on your window and trace it that way. Or maybe if you are using a block like I am of paper and that is not a possibility for you to put it on your window and trace it, you can just use a graphite paper and use a graphite pencil, then draw on the back side of your paper where your sketch is, and then trace it, and it will also trace onto your watercolor paper. And I'm not really trying to make that sketch light, I'm just pressing it the hard as much as I want, because later on I don't think it will be actually visible when we're done. And I will also use a little bit of eraser, artist eraser, to make it a little bit lighter if necessary. Of course, I thought this could be fun. I've pre-sketched the spot with some leaves in it. And I thought I didn't actually try to paint it myself, as probably those who are often on my channel probably already know that I never paint my paintings twice. And everything I do is just for the first time. I get an idea and I have to do it. I just turn on my camera and hope for the best. It will turn out to be fine. So I hope this one will also turn out to be fine. And let's hope for the best. Yes, and I forgot to say, as I said, you could find the links for the supplies I'm using also down in the description box. Those are my affiliate links. And of course, if you buy anything using that link, it doesn't have to be the products that are directly on that link. If you buy anything using my links, I will get a small commission, and of course be very grateful to you, because that is actually the way that I finance my videos, my supplies, and I would be very grateful. So I'm almost done here. I think I am done now. Just check. Yeah, I think I am. Yeah, I am. Okay, and as I said, I'm gonna use this artist eraser, kneaded eraser, to just slightly lighten my sketch, but not too much. I don't think it will be visible when we're done, and even if it would be visible, that's also fine. But using this will also lift up the graphite from the paper that is sitting on the top of the paper, and I don't want it to mix with my watercolors when I start using them. So this is actually picking up that graphite paper, not really graphite paper, that graphite on the top of my paper. And there is just one thing that I know I did wrong here somewhere, and like that. I'm just getting that out. And I was thinking to make it a little bit looser, not to do it so quite realistic and tight, but just to make it a little bit looser. So first thing we're gonna do is pre-wet the paper. I'm sorry you can't see the entire paper in the shot because it's too big for the shot, and I can't place my camera a little bit higher because the stand won't let it. So I will try my best to, where the parts that I'm painting, to place them in a shot so you can see it. And now, as I said, I'm just pre-wetting my paper, and we're gonna use mostly green, maybe some yellows, darker green, lighter green, maybe some neutral black, gray. Those are the colors I think we're gonna use. So that's what you should prepare for yourself. This will be a fun session, I think. Like that. I have just some hairs here and there, so I'm picking them up. That's annoying. Like this, and see, I'm adding quite amount of water, and these are the hairs. I think they're on my towel, you know, that I'm using for drying my brushes. Oh, so annoying. Like that. And I will use this larger round brush, and we're gonna start with green. And here I have some emerald green and some turquoise blue, and I'm gonna mix also those colors in, but that's not necessary. You can just use green. You don't need all those colors. And we're gonna just top in the color in the parts where our leaves are. And I'm not really trying to paint those leaves and trying to keep their shape, you know, because this will be a looser painting, and I am going around the places where the leaves are, but not really trying to stay in the lines. And this is the branch, like that, just topping in. And I'm gonna use right now some olive green, mix in to that green, and add a little bit of a lighter green, olive. And again here and there. And now I will use a little bit smaller round brush because this large brush won't release the paint so easily. So when I try to splatter with that brush, it's pretty hard, and I do want some splatters here and there, and I'm using olive green. This is a lighter green, just any lighter green you have will be just fine, will do. And just some splatters. And my paper is already starting to dry. It's pretty hot in my studio, so the paper is drying fast, and like that. And I'm gonna just, while this is still wet, I will just use that again larger round brush and go around the upper part and just you know, pick up the paint from it, because I don't want those bleeds like this here. So I'm just picking up the paint on the sides to make it, well, not look like that, like it's bleeding too much, but just to smooth it a little bit. That is my preference. If you like having those bleeds, you just leave it. You don't have to do this step. picking up the paint. So as I said, I'm not even sure how this will turn out in the end. I did not try it. I hope it will look nice. See, we're all over the place and going outside our leaves. That is fine. Just getting into those places where I think it's too much out. Like this. There you go. And right now this is still wet, but not damp. It's not really a lot wet. So I'm gonna splatter some. This is just a clean water, and I'm gonna splatter some clean water. I think that will just make a lovely effect on our leaves. So as I said, this is still just slightly wet, not damped, and when it's just slightly wet, those markings from water, well, I think they look even better. And there you go. This is how it looks, and this is now we're gonna leave it to dry, and when this dries we're gonna move on to our next step. Hey guys, so this is now dry, completely dry, and I think it looks very beautiful already, and you can actually do some doodles here, maybe paint the lower part of your pot, do some doodles here, and you're done. But I do want to add a little bit more details to it, so if you do want to add a bit more details, just keep on going. So I'm gonna use again this larger brush because I do want this to be loose, and I think the best way to make it loose is to use a larger brushes, and I'm just picking up the green. I have my palette here, see, those are the white nights, and I'm just picking up the green. And I know my palette doesn't really look perfect. And I'm gonna go just somewhere, just some parts of my leaves, and I'm just rinsing my brush, and I do, as I said, want it to be quite loose, so I don't want it to be, well, I don't want it to be too harsh with harsh lines, so I'm just adding here and there, and just on some leaves like this in the lower part. And as I said, it doesn't have to be perfect, you don't have to stay within the lines, no, just smudge it. You know, I just do want to make it a little bit different than the background we did, so that is the reason why we're adding that color. But it, as I said, doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be on the entire leaf like this, just adding a little bit darker spots on them, making them a little bit distinct from the background like this. And just add here, while this is still wet, I'm just topping in again some paint. And you can use a smaller brush if you're not feeling comfortable with using larger brushes. You just use a smaller one, and that will make it easier for you to make it, well, look more detailed and more within the lines like this. And this one, just topping in some here and there, some of that green. See, like this. And I do want it to be a little bit darker in some parts, so I'm just adding that green. like this. I think that looks nice right now, and I'm gonna use again the smaller round brush, pick up some olive green, mix it into that green of mine, and just again splatter some olive green, and also again here and there, and the places where they hit my leaves that are still wet, they will just smudge, and I think that will just look very beautiful, make some highlights on the leaves. And where it's not still wet, you know, just leave some polka dots, some splatters like that. There you go, and now I will dry it and move on to next step. And there you go, this is now again dry, and I will use some green mixed in with my olive green, and I will just top in here in this part where we have more leaves, and they don't really all look like leaf shaped, but we do wanna fill that part, because we do want the impression that there are just a lot of leaves there, and just topping in the paint. And when I'm done, I'm just gonna use a tissue paper and just slightly pick it up, just slightly topping like that, and pick up some green this time and add here and there some darker greens, and wherever it lands, it's fine. Don't bug yourself with that. Like this, we want to fill it up to make it look like there are more leaves. And now this went into, doesn't matter, and I'm gonna use right now neutral black, and just, well, not gonna use a lot of it, just a little bit, and go make my pot. And I'm just going, you know, beneath my leaves, and I'm not gonna paint the entire pot, just some parts of it to make the impression so that it does look like a pot. And you can also use a larger brush for this, especially for smudging. And this here, some parts here, like this. Some parts we do want to leave white on our pot, like that. Like this. And the rope also, add a little bit of that black, neutral black, but quite not saturated, light. And we have some ropes going there, but the ropes we're gonna do later on, because if we do them right, they will just, if right now, they will just mix in with our leaves, and that's not what we want. I want this lower part to be a little bit darker, so I'm adding a bit more of that neutral black here and like this. So this is our pot, and we're gonna do some more details on our leaves now. And we have this branch going also from the upper part, and I'm just pressing somewhere lighter, somewhere harder. To make that branch. I don't want it also to be perfect, and just picking up some of that green, because I do want some parts to be a little bit also darker, and I'm just putting here and there that darker green. And like that. Again, a little bit more of that. This is only green. It's pretty dark because I'm using it out of the pan. And like that. And now I will just go over my side of my leaf, and again, not the entire leaf, just slightly on the borders, and do like that. Just brush it a little bit harder, you know, like this, and like this, and not the entire again border, like that. And I will just slightly smudge it. Just slightly smudge it like that. And the next leaf, this one, oh sorry, it's just now smudge it again a bit. Go moving on to the next one. Just here, press it nearer to its root. Just press it a bit harder, or you know what I mean, nearer to the branch. And this one, well, this one is actually heart shaped, like this, and just add here, like this. We're just having fun. Nothing serious, nothing, you know, it has to be like this or like that. It doesn't. It has to be the way you want to make it. So I'm just adding a little bit of that. This is just green on here, the part that is nearest to the branch. I'm sorry if you hear some voices. There's just some kids having fun. Can't really stop them, right? You gotta let kids have fun. Like this, and this one. Just add here. I'm really starting to like this, and now I'm gonna just use that green, and I'm gonna again splatter it on the leaves. And here, where again that is wet, it will blend with the paint. and smudge this one just a little bit, this one, and go just make some shape, you know, going on the other outside borders, some shape of the leaf like this, just the tops, the leaves, just flick. There you go. And now we're gonna do a little bit more shape to our leaves here, you know, just to also make them all sort of look like leaves. Now I just have to be careful not to go, there you go, not to go into this, and some here. Just make some of the lines, that we don't have to make all of them, but just some, to make them some impressions that they're actual leaves. I'm just looking at my my sketch because this is now pretty dark and I can't see my lines anymore, so I'm just from time to time checking out my sketch to see how those leaves are positioned, just to make, well, to make it somewhat right. And those are the lines where the leaves are. As I said, don't bother yourself, doesn't have to be perfect. There you go. Nothing needs to be perfect. Just stop in here and there, some color. Like this. And there you go, we have some darker spots, some lighter spots, making the impression that there are actually some leaves. You know, just smudge this one a bit. So, and I'm gonna use later on, not right now, some white gouache, but right now this part is dry, so I'm gonna take that neutral black and just paint in that lower part of my pot to make it slightly different than the upper, and just go in those edges, add a little bit more of that black just to make it more distinct from the rest of the pot, and just again smudge it here. Like this, and we're gonna do those ropes later on. Right now I'm just looking, what could I do? I could just make those lines, and I'm gonna use, if I can find it, my script brush. There it is. I'm gonna use a script brush, but you can use again round brush, or maybe you have a flat brush, whatever you feel like using to make those ropes, lower ropes. And I'm gonna make those ropes be, you know, grayish. And that's for now. Adding just some middles here and there. just to make it slightly darker, because that part of the leaves is a little bit darker. And I'm using that again, neutral black. And just be careful not to use too much. But it doesn't matter even if you do, because you know, I'm just repeating. I know I'm repeating myself, but this is supposed to be fun, so don't just put yourself into a stress situation and try to make it perfect. Especially don't try to make it look same as mine, because you know that's not possible. This is a looser painting, and I don't know how it could just look same as mine. Even if I would be doing it again, just wouldn't be the same. Well, that is probably the reason why I don't like to paint my paintings twice and recreate them, because you know, it's just sometimes when I make something and I do like it, it's just hard to recreate it, and then you get frustrated thinking, why can't I do that again? I want to do it how it turned out here. It's turned out so nice, and now it's not. It's just normal, you know. You can't, it won't turn out the same twice, you know. And just don't pressure yourself to do it. I think this looks quite nice right now, and maybe I could do those ropes, and I will paint the ropes in neutral black. We have some ropes here and one here, and I have to be careful. I'm gonna skip the leaf, this one. And this one has here some knot, so we're gonna make that knot here, and then we're gonna make those ropes. I'm just looking, yeah, that one is going here. Just here, some stopping, and this one going upwards. This one does actually go the entire way. It's not covered by our leaves. And the last one goes from here see, I'm not really pressured into making anything perfect. So those are the pot ropes, and I'm just gonna add a little bit of that neutral black, a little bit darker neutral black. I like how that looks, so I'm gonna add just here and there on my pot lines like this. I'm sorry, that's my phone, which apparently did not keep quiet. Just a second, I'll be right back. So I'm sorry, I'm now back, and we can move on to our next step. And I was just thinking I could do this lower part of my pot a little bit darker. So I'm gonna do that right now. I'm gonna just, it's hard for me. I'm not really turning. I would rather turn my paper around, so you can do that. You can just turn your paper. I'm not doing it because I'm not sure how much can be in my shot, so I'm trying my best to make it as more as possible in my shot. And we're gonna do a little bit of that neutral black next to the ropes, so it looks like they're just creating a shadow. And here I'm gonna add a little bit of that also to make the impression just of creating some shadows, and just smudge it like that, and just some here also. Again, just a little bit smudge it, and there you go. It just brings the life out of it, I think. And I'm gonna use some new olive green here, and just again add here and there some lighter and darker parts, and again some green. And those parts are now a little bit wet, so they will create some they will just bleed a little, and if they don't, you just smudge it. Rinse your brush and just smudge it slightly. Because I think that part now looks too same. And so I decided to add a little bit darker parts, like this, and again here and there here. And we're gonna do a little bit more of the splattering in that part here, and that will, now that this part is now wet, it will create nice, I think it will create nice effect. And I'm gonna use again that this one just asks for the top, like that. Well, I think this looks pretty nice right now, and I'm just thinking what to do more, and I'm gonna use just cadmium yellow medium, and if you do not have it, just use any yellow, because I think that yellow would just look very nice here, and it just asks for a little bit of yellow, and just going downwards on our leaves. And just don't bug yourself to make it too perfect. Leaf shapes are just fine. And the last thing we're gonna do, of course, there is nothing without some white gouache. This one is dry on my palette, but it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna re-wet it with my brush. As you can see, I'm just picking up a lot of white gouache, and I'm gonna splatter it around my paper. I think those splatters will give just awesome addition to the painting. And going all, well, everywhere actually. That's it. You know, I'm just looking at it and I'm just thinking, should I add something more or should I not? This one just wants to be a little more defined, maybe, and that's it. I think this is it, nothing more. Those white, maybe I'll just try it and add a couple more whites. Yes, now this is dry, and I thought that would happen. It will just blend into my color, so I'm just adding a couple of more white splatters now that this is dry, and those splatters will be left, you know, a little bit more white, because now this is not wet anymore. And you know what, this one is just a little bit too thin for me. Just wiping excess water, and I'm gonna make this one a little bit thicker. This one rope. And that's it. Just this one maybe to make it more defined. And this dot here, not you know, I'm just looking. I have some here. Those are meeting here. So I'm gonna make the impression that they're, I don't know why my hands are shaking. And I'm gonna do a little bit more of black splatters. And this really now is it. This really now is it. I think it looks beautiful. I did want to make it loose, and it is looser. I hope you guys like it. You had fun painting this one. Don't forget, if you haven't painted, if you just watch and planning to paint later on, you can find a sketch on my website. The link is down in the description box. And well, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please hit the like button. And see, this is the entire one. Please hit the like button, comment, share it, and tell me what you did like, what you didn't like. And well, if you haven't still, subscribe to my channel. It really means a lot to me. And as you probably know, right now I have done the wonderful thing. And if you don't know, I'm doing everyday video right now, so check out the other videos. There will be one every day. And well, that is it. That is all. And I hope I'll see you next time. Bye.